Hey guys, welcome back to another video. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the books I read in March. I read quite a lot of books in March. Okay, it was so freaking fun. I read 21 books. I DNF to one. Yeah, I read some on my Kindle, some physical copies. As you guys know, I'm trying to reduce my physical copies. Guys, I have about 200 and something books on my physical TBR. It's a little bit overwhelming, but I'm trying my best to, bring it down, bring it down. Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about the books I read. I'm going to start with the ones I read, the physical books, then the ones on my Kindle will be later on. The first book I read is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This is the second book in this duology, and honestly, I really, really, really loved this. So it continues from Divine Rivals. In Divine Rivals, remember that there was this part where everything ended and something happened to Roman. So we continue from there. I actually kind of saw it coming, but yeah. So now we are getting more insight into the story of the gods and goddesses, Enva and Darko. Or so I think that's his name. I can't really remember right now. But yeah, I'm very bad with names, by the way. Darko and Enva, we go more into why he's after her and why she's running away from him, and we see what sides and what sides. Honestly, it was a beautiful story because here we see how love somehow brings everyone back together. I really, really enjoyed it. I gave this a 4 stars. The next one I read is The Switch by Beth O'Leary. I actually DNF'd this one. And I'm going to explain why. So the reason why I DNF'd it was because I assumed it was going to be a switch between her and her grandmother, like bodily switch. But apparently, it's just a switch where she goes to her grandma's house and she stays there while her grandma will go to the city where she's from and live there. So that's the first misconception I had. So I was not really enjoying the story. And second of all, I got kind of bored, so I DNF this. It might be for someone else, but definitely not for me. And I think at this rate, maybe I'll just have to give it a break on Beth O'Leary's books because most of the books I've read, I just keep getting bored. So far, The Flat Share was 4 stars for me. What other book? Oh, The No Show. I That was 3.5 stars, but I still kept that book till today because I cried. Something happened in that book that shocked me, and I just kept it. I'm sentimental when it comes to crying, I guess. The next book I read is this one, The Secret Lives of Baba Shaga's Wives by Lola Shoneyin. Honestly, guys, this book is so freaking hilarious. I really, really loved it. I gave this 5 stars. There's nothing. So it's about this particular man that likes women, and he has how many wives? I can't really remember. I think about we have 4 wives. No, he has 3 wives, and he wants to marry the fourth one. And the fourth one is this girl that's been through something that we would later find out in the story. So everybody's like, why would you marry this man that already has wives? And then, so Shisha comes into their family, and guys, this is the craziest part. All the wives have something that is hidden from their husband and other things. So in their quest to get rid of this new wife because she's learned and the rest are not learned, so that's why their secret now came out, and I'm laughing right now because the man himself, Baba Shaggy, oh my god, the man is so dramatic, and when he's going when he's going through something, he always go throws up or shits. So so it's quite hilarious because when somebody like gives him a news that is sad or a news that is happy or something, the way he expresses himself is, please show me the toilet or something like that. So he has to go throw up and stuff like that. And the whole casala even busted was when this new wife wasn't getting pregnant. So he wanted to know why. Why is she not getting pregnant? Is she barren and stuff like that? And apart from that, his other wives ate her. So that's where anyway, this is was a very this is was well, you understand what I'm trying to say. Oh my god. The next book I read is This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay. This is not really a story, but about this. I don't know if it is the man Adam Kay's story, gone, 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 but it's like a journal. So we see his journal entry from when he started his life as a doctor, actually as a student doctor, into being a doctor and stuff like that. Guys, this was funny, sad, enlightening, and everything together. I really, really, really loved it. As you can see, my tabs, well, and my yellow patches. That's besides the point at this point. So yeah, honestly, this was really, really enlightening. There are some stories that are so heartbreaking, and also the stress that doctors go through, and the old student loan that they have to pay, and everything. Their lives, how they don't even have a social life or another life, basically. Honestly, I really, 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 really love this. I gave this 5 stars. The next book I read is Saint by Sierra Simone. This is the third book in the, I don't know what they call this series, basically. If you guys read Priest and read Sinner, oh my god, Priest I loved. Okay, it was Father Bell's story, and he has a filthy mouth. And then Sinner also, oh my god. Anyway, that's besides one. Saint. So he went into the what they call these people, the people that don't want to marry or don't want to have sex. I've forgotten what they are called. Anyway, so he goes into that because his brother married a girl, and the girl's brother is who he's attracted to. So we see him yearning for this guy's touch, and then this guy has to come into his life again. And oh my god, guys, the angst, the wanting, the tension between them is crazy. And also we see other things that about Christian life. Honestly, this book is going to be a little bit controversial because it talks about sex in another light, and not in the way most of these churches and missionaries put it, in a way that you are not supposed to deny all these feelings, all in the name of trying to please God, and because God loves us whole. I don't know how I'm putting it, but honestly, I loved it. I gave this 4 stars. This one, Babel or Babel, whatever. This book, people said if you read this, you will start to feel smart. That's how I felt. So, this book by R.F. Kuang, guys, this was, I don't know what word to use to describe how I felt reading this, but it talks about how translation affects the culture. You know, there's this particular school, which is the Babel school, and in this school they translate words, and then there's also a particular stuff called silver, and this thing has magic. So if you can find the pairs, honestly, the whole science between it is crazy, but we have to delve into, did I just say delve? We have to dive into RF Kwang's brain and pick her brain, because that lady, I don't think she's from Earth. I think she's from maybe Pluto that doesn't exist anymore, because bro, she's so freaking smart. Honestly, seeing how everything, and also she incorporates Jesus English. She incorporates English racism, how racism affects everything, and there are 4 friends like this. Oh god. Whatever the fuck I'm saying, read this freaking book, please. Read it. Okay? It took me 3 weeks to finish it, but it was worth it. The next book I read is The Parlor Wife by Folusho Agbaje. This is a debut novel by this author, and it was, let's say it was okay. It was not as intense. So why I picked this up was because a friend of mine said it is so good that if you read Baba Shagi's Wife, you would love this. So I decided to, go into it with that kind of expectation. But for me, this was a 3.5, and it's not like it's bad. So there's this particular girl, same story. She is getting married to a particular man that has wives already, and so she didn't want that. Actually, the reason why she was even married off was because of an unfortunate incident that happened in her family, and then there was also the war, and how she didn't want to be a parlor wife, and also the fact that the government wanted them to pay for things that they could not afford. So she wanted to be a journalist, but her father was against that. That was before she got married, and then she was hoping that when she gets married, her husband would endorse her and stuff like that, but it didn't work like that. So she has to go behind her husband's back and stuff like that. So she didn't want to be a parlor wife. That's what basically. Honestly, I loved how it is, but the story was very predictable. Like, before the next thing happens, I already know what was going to happen, and there wasn't much difference like that, because a lot of stories have been written that sound so similar to this. So I felt like it was not really unique, but in its way, it's also a beautiful writing. The author's writing is so freaking easy to flow with. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I gave it a 3.5 stars. The next book I read is a reread. Guys, My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. I don't know if it's Levine or Levine, but this this is my third time reading this book. I read it last year, I read it the previous year, and it does what it has to do. Okay, don't enter into this book thinking it is one serious vampire books. Like, nope. It is a very very light read about a vampire that needs a roommate, and this girl, she needs a roommate but with a lower rent, so she agrees to be the roommate to this man, but she didn't know that he's a vampire. But the reason why he wants her to be his roommate is because he wants to learn the recent things that are happening, how to order coffee and stuff like that. But bro, because something happened with his friend Reginald. Oh my god, I don't want to spoil it because I think I've talked about this book so many times that look at this. Funniest things, even while reading it for my third time, I still annotated the crap out of it. I love this book. I love it. Yeah, if you're having a bad day and you're sad, pick this book up. It will just help you forget your worries, basically. So it's the little things that it did for her. Like when she said, "Oh, there's no pot in the kitchen." Of course, because he's a vampire, he doesn't cook. He went ahead to buy the most expensive pot he could find. Like the guy is just so funny, and at the end, there's a ridiculous thing that happened that made it all the more funnier. So yeah, please just read this book. 5 stars again. The next book I read is Play Along by Liz Tomforde. Tomforde or Tomforde. Well, this is the fourth book in the Windy City series, and this one talks about Isaiah and Kennedy. So Isaiah is one of the players. I've forgotten the particular spot, but he has his eye on Kennedy, and Kennedy is a female medical practitioner, but she's been mistreated, and then she also just got through a bad breakup, and so the two of them met in Las Vegas again. Actually, Isaiah has been eating on her for the longest time, but she's just like, no, she doesn't want to have anything to do with the players and all that, trying not to spoil her reputation. And it turns out that they got married after they got drunk in Las Vegas, and so he's like, okay. But I really love Isaiah because it was like from the start he knew that this girl was going to be his wife. I love when men do that. I gave this 4 stars. So the next book I read is Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. This is the second book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. Well, this was fun. So I think it's Declan's story. So Declan needs to fulfill his grandfather's wish so that he can inherit part of the company, but there are some other clauses. His own task is to get married and have kids. So his assistant, I forgot her name, she decides to get married to him. But he's a very kind of, will I say, a rude guy, because everybody's afraid of him basically, and he's cold and almost heartless and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed the story. It was nice, but I feel like they loved to hate themselves, and there were so many times where he would have acted in a particular way, but he kept on, I don't know, it was just too much hate in my will I say too much? I love enemies to lovers, but at least the enemies to lovers should make sense. I don't know how to explain it. I wouldn't say the story was annoying because I laughed in some part, but some other parts I was just like, okay, you guys should just talk about this thing, just say it, and sort it out. I gave it a 3.5 stars. And then I read Final Offer. This one is Carl's story. Carl has a best friend, like it's a second chance romance, yeah. So he has a friend that he was dating in the past, but because he's an alcoholic, or was an alcoholic, he decided to leave her because he felt like he's not good for anything. So they broke up, and now his grandfather asked him also for a tax that he has to sell the house, and he doesn't know how to sell the house because she lives in the house, and also apart from that, she owns part of the house. So they need to come together, and then there's a little girl in the picture also, which turns out to be a daughter. We don't know. I'm not telling you. So basically, yeah, I enjoyed it, but I felt like a lot of things would have been avoided, and the, honestly, this book was a little bit touchy because it shows how difficult it is. People who are addicted to things, substances, and stuff, how hard it is for them to, move on, or how hard it is for them to control this addiction. So we go through it, but then again, it was just a light, nice story, I would say. This was 3.75. So the first book I read on my Kindle was She Started It. Actually, this is even the first book I read this month, but I gave this a 3.5 stars. This is a thriller. It's about a particular girl that all of a sudden invites these girls that used to bully her in the past to a bridal shower. And these girls have obviously not been nice to her. So why did they accept to go? Do you get that kind of thing? But seriously, the book is very, very crazy. I gave it 3.5 stars because, yes, it was a very, very mind blowing revelation at the end, honestly. But some things were just not adding up. Mostly these girls that, please, I've not talked to you in 10 years and you invite me to your bridal shower and I will go. But you see why they actually accepted to go. Honestly, the book is crazy, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. The next one I read is First Time Caller by BK Borison. This is a very, very recent book, very popular right now. Okay, so it's about this guy. He's a radio host, an OAP, and this particular woman's daughter calls the radio station and says, "Oh, my mom does not. I want my mom to be happy. She doesn't have love," and she kind of the woman collects the phone from her daughter and talks to this OAP, and then people actually were listening to this particular broadcast, and she became popular through that, and then she was invited to come on the episode. It was very, very sweet. It's just a very I say very romance, very normal romance that happens between two people. So sweet, light, no craziness. But then again, it's also about accepting who you are, accepting the fact that other people may feel what you feel. That kind of vibe. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5 stars. Yes. If you want a book that is very light and not serious, this next series is what you should read. The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human. This series is very, very hilarious. I gave the first book 4 stars, the second book 4 stars, the third book 4 stars, and then there are two novellas between it, and they are blacks. Okay, they believe that this particular goddess protected them from the monsters. So every maybe 10 years, one person will go and protect this goddess temple because according to what this goddess says, the barrier is going to be weak at that point. So yeah, this girl Cinnamon, in the first book, Cinnamon, comes across this particular man. Honestly, I said particular man, this particular monster, and she saved him. And then he went to meet her and realized some things. Honestly, I don't want to spoil it, but it was so hilarious, very funny, very interesting. I'm sure you'll love it. Very, very good. And also spicy because, monsters and human, what do you expect? Kind of vibe. Then the next book I read is Biothread by Lucy Score. Gosh, when I finished reading this book, I was like, why didn't I read this book earlier? Or when my friend was asking me to read it, why didn't I just follow what she said? Because I was so, 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 so in love. It's so funny. So it's about this particular guy. He's rude, billionaire, a rich man's son, of course, always rude. And the girl works in a restaurant as a waitress. So he comes in and gets her fired, but his mother gets her hired in his company, and there are some other things that get the romance. Honestly, it's so freaking sweet. I love when guys do these little things for the ones they love. Anyway, this was 4.5 stars. And I don't think there was any spice in it, to be quite frank. Yeah. The next book I read on my Kindle is Scythe and Sparrow. This is the third book in this, I think it's Ruinous Love series. I gave this one a 3.75. Do I remember what it's about? Oh, yeah, I do. She works in the circus and he is a doctor, but he feels that connection the first time he sees her because she's not just okay. If you've read any book in this series, you know that the ladies are always like having other ladies back where they go and like unalive anyone that treats women bad, basically. So that's what she also does. And then one day she gets in trouble and she goes directly to this man's hospital and he saves her. And then they develop feelings. It's actually really cute. Loved it. Loved it. And the last book I read is Den of Vipers. This is a dark romance. So if you're not into dark romance, please stay clear of this because apart from the fact that it's dark romance, it's reverse harem. And this is my first time reading a reverse harem book. But I loved it. Okay. I did. Bro. The characters are unhinged. So it's about this particular set of they call themselves the Vipers. They are four guys and they call themselves brothers. And you see how they are related, but not really related. Some of them are related by blood and some are not. But they are the gang in this and they own the city basically. So this girl's father owes them something, but he could not pay back. So he sells his daughter to them. And his daughter is not a child. She's like a full grown adult that makes decisions by herself, that owns a bar, and she's freaking cool. I love her. She's crazy. So they kidnap her and take her back to their house, but they start to fall in love with her, and she wants all of them. They are so freaking unhinged. Honestly, the reason why I love this book the more, is because of Diesel. Diesel is the one that is so freaking crazy. Like, is unhinged. He inserts the base of the knife into our anus, and while he's going from behind, the knife is impaling him, and it continues going on and on like that. Like, who does that? This is why I said he's unhinged. Okay, it's very very unhinged. So yeah, honestly, I loved it. I gave it a 3.75 because it became repetitive, like a lot. And also, Auntie, she she was not feeling sore because the number of times she did it, I was feeling sore on her behalf because I was like, what the heck? The first encounter with one of them, I don't want to say his name, that part. Oh, fuck. So that's all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please let me know which one of these you've read and which one you would like me to add to my TBR. Honestly, I have a lot of physical books, so most likely be going through a lot of them. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching. Deuces.